Why do we call health and health services as public goods? Public goods are goods where markets fail to act. When it comes to health services, the same quality of health services is required for everyone. And that is something that markets are particularly notorious in being unable to do, which government therefore necessarily has to be the prime provider or in some sense the prime guarantor of the provision of. In classical economics, right from the time of Adam Smith, all that relates to what are called non-excludable, non-rivalrous commodities were public goods. You also have a number of goods, for example, tuberculosis or immunization, where if one person gets treated, you not only cure him, you prevent 10 others from getting infected. Here again, since it's not reflected in the price paid by the individual, governments need to act. Markets fail to act even in ordinary day-to-day healthcare. There is a high level of information asymmetry. People cannot make an informed choice. They have to put a high level of trust in the doctor. And third, the interest of the provider and the interest of the client is not mediated through the market. And finally, there is the notion of professional power. So for all these reasons, we can't let healthcare to the markets. It is necessary for the productivity of a nation. It also enshrines the values that we hold dear. A value, for example, that everyone should be healthy and the society is committed to making sure of that. If we hold that as a right, as an inalienable, fundamental human right, then all the more we recognize that private markets at best can cater care to a small subset of its patients, but for the large majority it will lead necessarily to exclusion. Those who are poor are the first and most obvious candidates for exclusion. Difficult geographies get excluded. People in remote areas, in rural areas, in hilly areas, in tribal areas, in desert areas, in island areas get excluded. Social exclusions, caste, tribal status, ethnicity are also major areas of exclusion. And increasingly in conflict areas, in areas of migration, in areas of statelessness, in areas where there are no rights, again there are high forms of exclusion, this time by both the government and the private sector. One of the main points of intervention should be the strengthening of public services. And by this, let me be explicit, I mean the public delivery of services, public ownership of services, and therefore at some point where the public providers are completely free of the market forces at work. The moment monetary incentives are there, then at some point decision making gets altered towards the profit making consideration, even at the level of the scientific decision that needs to be taken. So public provisioning, and that too when we are talking of the importance of primary health care, where it is a close to community approach, where people are able to get 80% of their needs at the local place. And when we say 80% of needs, we do not mean care in pregnancy and immunization alone, but the whole gamut of non-communicable diseases, mental illness, all of these areas, which means that it needs a very good referral backup with the specialist and the whole district health system, and not just the sub-center or the primary center, needs to be strengthened in a major way. Finally, there is a whole category of people, the marginalized, the disabled, the homeless, the street child, the sanitation worker, the commercial sex worker, where it is not enough to make the provision, the availability of services. We are going to need positive, affirmative action, because they are at a level of exclusion where just the access to physical access is not going to materialize into the utilization of healthcare services.